Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Thursday, April 20th, 2017. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change. Joined as always on Thursdays by the lovely and talented Steve Wiltfong. Steve, how goes it in Indy?
Daniel, going well, man. Weather's great. Smoothie's tasting good this morning. Blinds are open. Air conditioner is on.
We may need to come up with some kind of new rating system, some kind of weather/smoothie combo rating system on how life is in Indianapolis, but that'll be for next Thursday. Right now, we're really talking about last Saturday, and by that I mean the spring game. It was a recruiting extravaganza, the overflow of which we are still unpacking here. One of the main names that has come out, and there's been a change to the process, Brenton Cox. Some thought we were headed for a commitment here soon. There's been some changes. Bill Kurlick has reported on the changes. If you could bring us up to speed, Steve, on what the changes were and how you think that affects the process in terms of Ohio State getting the commitment.
Well, the changes are Brenton Cox just isn't going to make his decision on Sunday. He's going to make it later next week, it sounds like. He's taking a visit to Georgia this weekend, going to give the Bulldogs one last look. Certainly was a lot of Ohio State momentum coming off this spring game visit. Where he took in the Buckeyes and then announced that he was going to make a college decision. Ohio State's always been in the top two with Georgia here. It looks like Ohio State's got a really good chance to land Brenton Cox, who is the number 2 strong side defensive end in the country for 24/7 Sports. And, we'll just see how this weekend visit goes to Georgia and see if that's another potential twist in the young man's recruitment. But you got to feel good about Ohio State, especially Ohio State's last 2 commitments were guys that, they took Max Ray out of SEC country, and that trended Ohio State before he announced. But how about the commitment over the weekend from the nation's number 2 safety, Josh Proctor, from the state of Oklahoma? The crystal ball was all Boomer Sooner. And next thing you know, Josh Proctor's at the spring game in Columbus, and boom, he's committed. It's a hell of a weekend for the Buckeyes. They have 7 commits, every single one of them ranking inside the top 100. It's going to be another special class for Urban Meyer and company. And just whatever we said about him at this time last year, it applies right now. Whatever we said about Ohio State recruiting 2 years ago, it applies right now. Because they're recruiting the best of the best, and they're beating State U for blue chip recruits. And they're going to try and do it again with Brenton Cox.
Yeah, that's kind of what makes me nervous. How much, and this is, we all read into this, is the timing of the visit. So you don't place too much credence in the fact that it's an in-state guy going to an in-state visit down the stretch?
I think Georgia has a chance. I think the Bulldogs have a chance. And it's one that if he commits to Ohio State, it's not like Kirby Smart's going to lay down all year and say, "Oh, all right, let's go to the next at the end." So
sure.
It's recruiting in Ohio State. They have as much recruiting chops as anyone to then keep the young man in the fold. So first thing is getting him in the boat, and Ohio State has a really good shot to get Brenton Cox in the boat.
I just get the feeling Ohio State's doing, obviously everyone tries to do well in Florida, but really get the sense Ohio State has done a great job in Georgia. I got a good vibe on this one. Speaking of vibes and guys from not Ohio who are badass, Teradja Mitchell, the latest out of the Virginia Beach area. We have a note on here from Ebron84 who would like an update. Mitchell himself is going on 2 more visits as Clemson and Florida State still on the map. And then he'll make a decision. What's your vibe? There was some real momentum for Mitchell. Did you get caught up in that, and where do you stand as of now?
I think Ohio State leads for Teradja Mitchell, the nation's number 2 linebacker. Florida State was considered the long-time favorite, and he's going to take one more visit to Florida State. Josh Newberg from our Knowles 247 site reported that Teradja will be back in Tallahassee the weekend of May 11th through the 13th, and you're talking about a program that, in my opinion, is on the same level as Ohio State and Alabama and now Clemson with the recruiting prowess. And so they'll get that final crack. But going into the visit, I like Ohio State. For Teradja, he's going to decide this summer. And I haven't heard anything to date that makes me think he's not going to end up a Buckeye, but we'll see how his next trip to Florida State goes. There was some smoke that Alabama was very much a player too for Teradja, so we'll see where the Crimson Tide are at with him as well.
Your general vibe, you had a great story wrapping up kind of the buzz at spring game. Your general vibe on the day, maybe what we missed or what we should focus on coming out of such an event.
Well, Ohio State's not done landing commits from that weekend, you know. I mean, it was a tremendous atmosphere. Jackson Carman was one of the most notable visitors. He stayed overnight, said it was amazing, felt at home, and he felt loved, and he really had a nice time. Dallas Gant popped in, the nation's #1 outside linebacker. He's going to Notre Dame this weekend. I have a feeling we're going to have more clarity on Gant's recruitment next week. Jordan Adams put Ohio State in his top 5 yesterday. He's a terrific multi-sport athlete, a receiver recruit. His dad coaches at North Carolina, Dan, but he had a really good time at Ohio State, and I think that the Buckeyes have a shot there. A pair of offensive linemen, Jake Cradle and Juice Scruggs. If Ohio State pushes, I think they get those guys. We'll see if they push. Tyreek Smith, another strong visit to Columbus for Tyreek Smith as they battle Penn State. So many big time guys there. We talked about most of them, and the fans were terrific. They did their part in helping create the atmosphere. And the game, you know, I had it on in the background, but it seemed like there was a lot of exciting things going on in the game. I noticed on social media, journalists talking about the touch football played early on. I didn't catch that part. I kind of rolled my eyes, seeing the people, acting like they knew more about how to, put a spring game together than Urban Meyer and the staff. They're obviously playing touch football for a reason. I don't know what it is. I didn't look into it. I'm actually kind of asking you, why do people have a problem with it? I assume Urban didn't want a few people to get hurt. You know, makes sense to me. So, why do people have a problem with it, Dan?
We'll make this our place to end because I think you mentioned it. We know better than the Herb. No, I think he was trying to keep everybody healthy. There was a plan in place, probably not to get the starters enough licks, and then come with the younger guys. But you get 80,000 people into one place and have them fairly well lubricated. You better have some hitting. And
were they booing? Were people booing?
I'm not sure we got to the level of booing, but there was some discord among the more well lubricated. It all ended up okay. Got to see our
tough crowd in the spring,
stars.
Man.
Standards are high here in Seabus, bro. Good place to end it. We appreciate Steve being fully padded up today. Have a good one, Bucknutters.
Appreciate it, guys. See you.